Hello friends, my name is Bharath. I'm an associate business analyst in Venzo. So today we're going to take a fundamental steps to building a product, and my core agenda is to give awareness on building a product in just 8 steps. So the objective of this session will give you the basic level of understanding how to build a product and also unlock the product development blueprint and simplify the product development from idea to launch. And my main objective is like to demystify the product management from also look at the entire product management from the corporate point of view, not just from the ideas point of view. And will cover all these things using the business case study for better understanding. In simple terms, we're going to learn how to build a product successfully in just 45 minutes. Using our case study, since we are all over cricket, so our nation is like it's like a religion to us, right? So I choose cricket as a case study. From the beginning, the case study is building a cricket app with a better experience. The user persona, the name of the user persona is David Pandya, and his occupation is not a full-time cricketer, but a first division cricketer, and he is a professional accountant consultant. He lives in Chennai, and he is very much interested in cricket and accounting. The problem he faces is he is using multiple cricket information apps, but all the apps are not satisfied for him. Somewhere he feels like it's not accurate and giving exact information. So he decided to create his own app called Krigzo. And the main hurdle he faces is he don't know anything about the technical thing, right? He's from accounting background. So coming 45 minutes, we all going to help him the how to build the app in just 8 steps. So stick with this, guys. We're going to help Mr. David Pandya to build his dream app called Krigzo. So we'll start with the basic things. So I'll cover one by one. So if you want to build an app, we need 8 steps. So first thing is like question and hypothesis and researchers. So in the step one, we will ask questions to raise hypotheses and do some user research. In the step two, when you have interrupted these findings, building user stories and therefore conceptualize the feature based on the research, we get the answer right. From based on the answers, we used to create user stories and conceptualize the exact feature. Is it worth enough to build the app, or is it just an idea for very small people? And the step three, and here it's a wireframe, which includes the low fidelity. It helps in the future steps like designing UI UX and all. So step four is when you sit with the design team and design the UI UX. When you are when we get all the information on based on the user stories, all these things, we will use to build the UI UX, which will be very much useful in the next step while building the mobile applications or even the web applications. Step five is when you sit with your tech team and decide on the tech stack and the developments, how to do the development side from the tech side, all these things. And the step six is for our business needs and finding our vision of the business, how to do this for a long time and how to earn money, how to monetize the product which we built. And for the step seven, with all this above information which we covered, we used to build a minimum viable product called MVP, and this is step seven. So step eight is one of the very important tools. So we have to once we launch the MVP, we have to measure the behavior of the applications to enhance the applications and to improvise the application from our side and also from the user point of view. If you're not measuring, we cannot scale. So that's the key point to measuring the tools. So these are the 8 basic steps, and it's divided. I think Balaji sir had raised a question.
No,
So
Bharat, not a question. Can you move to the slideshow mode so that it's better?
I think is it fine, right?
Yes, yes. Bharat, just to add,
Yes, sir.
8 steps is to create the product. What about the cost?
So
Bharat,
I
you
given a
prefer?
brief intro.
Yeah, just because as Mathusa said, when you start, you just set your preference whether you want to take questions in between or at the end.
At the end, I think I can go with
Ah,
the flow, right?
yeah.
So
Okay. So Sandeep, you have raised hand. Maybe you will have to wait for your turn towards the end.
So we have figured out the 8 steps and the basic information on the 8 steps, and we go on detail now. The step one is questions, hypothesis, and research. So the first step contains: do you have a problem that your product will be addressed or not? So we have to ask questions from our side whether is it a real problem or not, and do you know the problem that your product is addressed? If answer is yes, then you have to do research and take more pointers, and it will help you to build a better product. If it's yes, then there is a and again if the answer is yes, you know all the things about your product and what the problem you are exactly facing in your product, and even then you have to research for better improvement regarding the product developments. Either that's right. Either way, you need to have a research, even though if you know the exact problem you are facing, or if you not even know the exact problem you are facing, but research is mandatory for building a product. So coming to the point, how to do the research? They are I just simplified in 3 steps. So I just the main objective is to help the persona called the cricketer, right? So he's working in already working as a corporate accountant. So based on his point of view, I'm going to share the research. So first point is like internal feedback. He's going to ask feedbacks around surroundings him. For example, in his with his colleagues, with his cricket teammates, cricket players, all the peoples, and the user research. He may outsource the research for a better performance and a competitor analysis. With all these things, we can identify the problem and find the opportunity to solve the problems. So we'll next figure it out. The first step, like internal feedbacks. We can ask feedbacks from our client, from our employees, our friends, and our known peoples. Whether is it possible to address? Is it the same problem you are facing? Like kind of that. So second step, we can outsource the research itself. So the one of the main thing is India Mart Research Bureau. It's one of the best research institute for in South Asia and also in the Gulf countries. So they do market research based on your requirements and provide the insights based on your needs, and analyzing the competitors from here. So my competitors are ClickBus and ESPN Cricinfo. These are the two main competitors in the field. So we're going to compete with them. So that's the reason we're going to analyze this ClickBus and ESPN Cricinfo. After analyzing all these 3 steps, we're going to figure it out, like what are the problems we are exactly facing and how to solve the problems and make the problem into the opportunity. So let's understand. Let's assume that we already completed our internal feedback. So with our friends and colleagues and our surroundings. So the thing we get is the app which you're going to build. It should be the live score. It should be live score should be updated as much speed as. I think I'm audible, right?
Yeah, you're audible. I think
Yeah.
someone is in.
So I'm getting an internal feedback the score should be updated as quick as the TV, and it should be like a uniform experience all over the platform. If we are building a mobile application or even if building a web application, and the personalized notification strategy. For example, if I'm very much interested in the CSK or RCB, I get to know what happening in these teams. That kind of personalized thing we need to add, and we need a clear product differentiator from the our competitors. These are the feedback which we got from the internal survey. And after getting the survey from outsourcing, we need live score, commentary, and match schedule, player informations, rankings, milestone, news analysis. All this information we have to add in our app which we're going to build. So these are the information which we get from the outsourcing the research, right? So we get all this information from there. So additionally, we may add some dressing room updates and more gossips on players, and lighter app, fantasy cricket. This will encourage players to use the app more frequently. So, and coming to the competitor analysis. So we have choose the competitor analysis as two peoples, the two main players. They're ClickBus and the ESPN Cricinfo. After analyzing the ClickBus and ESPN Cricinfo, we get to know that ClickBus is much more better than comparing to ESPN Cricinfo. It had a more popular brand ambassadors and commentators. And the prediction is much faster and a quick update, and different languages across the world, better notification, source tweets, ranking, seats, and analysis. And ESPN Cricket also is equally good, but even though they are lagging with comparatively lagging, but they are good. So we have to compete with them regarding the detailed information and the stats and the brand. And ESPN is a global brand compared to the ClickBus. So we have to, if you are going into the field, we have to also compete with the ESPN in globally. So next to that, this is how the ClickBus site look like. So we get all the detailed information. So we can get inspiration from these websites. So this is how the ClickBus looks, and this is how the ESPN Cricinfo looks like. So they are giving the same information, but with a different style. So we have to choose which one suits us. So without giving any frictions while using the mobile applications or web applications. So another thing is we have to compete with them, means we have to go online. So if you want to rank, we have to use the keywords. So here are the information. So while researching the cricket live score, ClickBus was in the top list. So they are using get live score, get live cricket score as a keyword, and ball by ball commentary as a main keyword. While I'm searching as IPL score, so ESPN Cricinfo was in the top list. So they were using live cricket score, update for IPL 2024. These are the main keywords they were using. We have to focus on the keywords so that we can organically rank. So it will give more traffic. So more traffic means more users. That's the reason we need presence in the. We need good keywords for good ranking. After analyzing these features, right? So we get to know that we need live score updates as par with the TV in terms of speed, product differentiator, and more features and stats and live videos. These are the things after analyzing all these things, all the three different dimension of the analyzing, like for example, internalizing, outsourcing the research, and competitive analysis. All these three things we get the output. And the next step we're going to in the next step we're going to check all this information we can how we can convert into the user stories. Is it all useful to build a mobile application or not? The step two is like interruption, user stories, and features. So to brief it out, so I'm going to take just two hypotheses as stories. So first one is like as a user I want a fast live score, and acceptance criteria is on par with the TV and faster than the other sites. It should be as equal as a TV and faster than the other site. And my second need is as a user I want a live video and action, right? So the acceptance criteria is a live. We need a live video, live polls, live notifications, and live predictions. So feature convinced after all this thing fast live score. For the fast live score we need a tech intervention and live polls and fan shout on live notifications. Differentiator is for example we have to differentiate exactly from other players in the same industry. So for that we may use the moment you missed. It's this feature is not given by the other players. Moment you missed in the sense same thing if I'm a fan of a CSK or a RCB, if I miss anything from their team update, I will get personalized notification. It's kind of like that. Additional feature like ball by ball features and favorite team alert and match schedules fixers and video in form of cricket, comedy, and news clips. These are the things we needed to if we want to build a better app than our competitors. So based on all these inputs, we're going to move to the step three. It's the wireframe. So what exactly is a wireframe? Means it gives a visual guide for the next step on building our product. So it's a visual guide. It's a handmade sketch, or we can do with multiple tools which are available. For example, Blasmica is one of the tools we can use to sketch the wireframes. And using the wireframe, we can have a low fidelity as well as the high fidelity in terms of the quality of the wireframe. Like after completing the wireframe, we have to sit with the graphic designer to develop the exact final output of the design. And wireframe is also used as a mock-ups and prototypes to explain the exact flow of the mobile application which you're going to build. So for all this reason, we're going to use the wireframes. So here are the example. This is the example of the wireframe which is used by which is used creating by the tools, and it looks like a low fidelity wireframe. You can explain everything with a clear and neat information are present over here, right? So another thing is we can also do the same wireframe by using the paper and pencil. In just paper and pencil, we can just draw what we need and what are the things we need, and we can explain to our designers and our stakeholders. These are the design we need. So this is the example for the hand-drawn wireframes. So after doing the wireframe, we'll move to the next step, which is UI UX. So after doing the wireframe, we have to sit with the graphic designers and we had to explain them. These are the things we need, and these are the output of the research, and based on that, we need a design. So what exactly is the UI UX? User experience is a set of tasks. User experience is a set of tasks that enable effective and enjoyable use of a product. And UI is a subproduct of a user experience. And for example, user experience design is look and feel how for example how user feels while using the applications. For that, I have a better example. So for example, if you want to know what exactly is UI UX, means look at the screen, it's very clean. So but Google had cleverly mentioned all its apps in just one click. So this is a clear example of the user experience. So if you want to know what exactly is the user interface, so we can use this application. This is the Google Earth. So while searching the address which I need, so it gives a clear experience, right? So this is a best example for a user interface. Moving to the next slide. So what are the things we needed, right? So these are all the outputs we got from the design and research. After the research, we get these outputs, and now we're going to push these outputs to the design team, and they will understand the needs, and they will create a design based on the outputs what we got from our research. So research are very important. So that's the reason if we know the answer, like for example, if I know the problem what I'm facing, if I'm not facing exactly what is the problem, and if I even not even if I don't know even for example, let's say if I know already the what exactly exactly I'm facing the problem, even then I need a research. For example, if I don't know the problem which I'm facing, even then in that time also I need a research, right? So based on this information, the designer will design the final design. Let's consider we have designed the app, right? So these are the designs which you're going to build for the future application, just for example. And after the UI UX design, we move to the stick stack. So once the design is finalized, so next step is to build a product. So to build a product, we need a tech team, right? So we need a tech team means like we have to choose the right language, programming language, to which is suitable for the mobile application. What exactly is tech stack? Is like tech stack is a combination of software products and a programming language used to create a web application or a mobile applications. So to build a product, we have to divide the entire development cycle into two or three different phases. First one is like front end, and second one is a back end. On the back end, we also divide the like database structure. We're going to store all this thing and the logical information, all this thing we're going to have in the back end. So in the front end, if it's literally like a UI of the application. So here the user will feel how exactly the application is without friction. If you're building an application without friction, it will be much better for user flow. All these things. The backend also there is a brain for the entire product. So here in the backend, we get all the logics behind the scenes, right? What are the things we needed? What are the things we are getting from the as a notifications and all this thing, all the stuff we're going to get from the backend. So backend is one of the main important thing, and it's a brain for a application. So I have given us some few examples for what are the tools we can use for the front end. So to front end, we can use HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. For the backend, we can use the Python, PHP, and all the other things. For example, we can have if you want a database, like we can use like Amazon servers, all this thing. It comes under the database. So these are the clear difference between backend and front end. So to choose for the product which you're going to build, so we are going to choose for web development, we're going to choose Python, and mobile development we can choose for Java or Swift, and more game development we can choose C or C++. Desktop application we can choose for like Java and C++ and Python. For in case like for example, if you want to build a game applications, the better option is for C++ and C. So I just mentioned what exactly or what are the different features can be developed from the different programming languages over here. And finally, we finalize that we're going to go with the HTML, CSS for the front end, and for the back end, .NET, and the mobile application, we're going to go for a React Native. So to decide what framework we're going to go with, right, we have to consult with the tech team. They know better exactly what all the problem we are facing, how to address it. So based on the problem, so we can figure the best programming language. And the step 6 is like very important step. So if you build a product, so you need to monetize it, right, at the point of thing. At one time, you have to make money out of the product. So step 6 is going to all about how to monetize the app which we built. So there are different monetization models. For example, we can give a subscriptions, we can add advertising in our platform, or we can have a e-commerce within our site, or we can license our content to other sites. For example, to licensing our content to other sites like Facebook and YouTube, and also having a partnership with other platforms. So all these are the all different ways we can make money from our applications. So to choose what all the things we have. So for example, it should not affect the user interface. So let's say just because we're getting money, so we cannot add all these things with the same application. It will affect the user interface, and the user slowly going to stop using the application. So we have to choose wisely, and based on our future requirements and future planning, we have to like plan what are the things we need. So we can add something in future. We can, for example, beginning we can start with a subscription model, and future we can add a e-commerce within our site. All this thing we can decide in the business monetization model. So over here, as I mentioned, we're going to use pay and subscribe to watch, and advertising and licensing our content, our videos with other platforms, and partners with YouTube and FB to share our content and monetize it. So these are the four different monetization in the beginning. So we have decided to go for. And the step 7 is MVP, and MVP is like a very important thing while creating the product. MVP is a minimal viable product. So we no need to build everything at the beginning itself. We can go phase by phase, step by step. The minimum viable product ensure that the user gets the utmost thing which he can address as a problem, and it gets solved, right? So for that case, we have decided to match like live score, match center, notifications, fan shout, movement like you missed out, and match schedules and cricket in users. All these things we can go with the MVP. And for the post MVP, we can add player status and different cricket leagues and cricket anthem and cricket comedy shows. All these things we can add in the future MVP. So if we stuff everything in the beginning itself, means it may delay the launch of the application. Also, user may get confused over using the application. There are too much of information for using it. So step 8 is one of the very important thing. Once we do all this thing after launching our product, and so we have to measure like what exactly and how exactly the platform is performing, right? So for that we have to choose in the mobile and applications and different platforms. For example, if user is using in the PC, we have to consider him also. And if user is using only in the mobile applications like in Android or in iOS, we have to consider them also to analyze and how the platform is performing. So we get to know better in the next slides. So there are two different metrics we can use for measuring all these things. So one is like user metric, and second one is like advertising metrics. So user metrics is like organic thing, and how user behaving in our platform. Advertising is like a paid thing, like so how our advertisement is performing, are they functioning, are they useful or not. So under the user metrics, we can we can check the multiple form of metrics. For example, monthly active users, unique visitors, like weekly. So I just explain what exactly it's. MAU means like monthly active users, and UV means unique visitors, and WAU means like weekly active users, daily active users, and daily active users versus monthly active user is a ratio. Like we can take a ratio between daily and weekly. So compare like what exactly is happening, and we can do the same for the daily active users, comparing the data with the monthly active users. And we can also check the time spent. Like for example, if a visitor comes and how much time he spends on the website, we can check all these things. And like how many percentage of the people are using in mobile and how many percentage of people are using in the web application, we can also identify this, right? And finally, we can identify the bounce back rate. Bounce back rate means like people come and visit and they go back. The people come and they don't stay for much long. So this one thing is like will affect the ranking of the website also. And also user experience. Like I think in this case, people who are using this application, I mean, they may face some problems, right? For that the reason they are visiting our site, and within no time they are going back to the what they're doing, right? So bounce back rate is one of the key features to understand it. So next to that, this is the user matrix. We can understand in much more easy way. For example, we can have the information on January, like DA, we mean daily active users, monthly active users. All these things we can write it down, and we can compare everything in a single sheet. So we will get like clear cut information how the application is performing on in a monthly basis, and like how much time has spent by the users, all this thing. So coming to the advertising metrics. So in the advertising metrics, there are like different terms like cost per thousand, which means CPM. So cost per click, or lead acquisitions, or click through rate, organic users and paid acquisitions. All these things we have to use, because we are going to spend money to acquire and to attract clients over here. No, we are not going organically on this thing. So if you are spending money, means we have to be very much conscious. And our, like for example, our ad campaign is running optimized or not. If it's getting clients, we can continue. If it's not getting clients, a client means like users. Like if they are not, if the users are not attractive with our marketing campaign, we can drop, and we can change some other platform for advertising, right? So we can go for that. And for example, we can do this thing comparison over here. For example, like how many users are visited and retention rate, all this thing. So retention rate is very important thing in the mobile applications and web application also. For example, today I may get 100 users, but I may not get the same user in the following 7 days. If it's 100 users for all the 7 days, my retention rate will be 100%. It slowly decreases, means my retention is slowly decreasing. Then I have to figure it out why the people are not coming back, and the reason behind that I have to figure it out. So for example, we can check here, and see we have the February 18, we get 100 users on that day. So retention rate was 100%. And the next day we get 70 users. We are the retention rate was 70%. And the next day to that, only 50 users, and retention rate was 50%. And at this point, we have lost like nearly 50% of our users. So there's a big problem we have to figure it out. We can understand all this thing by using the retention matrix, and we can do this for every day. So this thing we can go for even organic or paid content. We can use this thing for both. So after analyzing this, all this thing, we can improve our apps, so and apps performance and apps usability. In, like, for example, if the app performs better and it has all the information the user needs, they will return and they will come back again and again. So with this thing, so we have completed all the 8 steps, like how the product is built, and what are the steps we are following in the product building. So if you have any questions, and thanks team.